Welcome back. So in the last video, we got the blog app set up, created our blog model, and we added the index route and template. In this video, we won't actually be adding any new routes just yet. This will be very quick, but we want to add in our header and footer partials, and then I want to include semantic UI as well. And then finally, we'll add a really simple navbar at the top. So let's start. We want to create our header and footer.ejs files. And that should be inside of the views directory. So we'll do a make directory views/partials, and then touch views/partials/header.ejs, and then touch views/partials/footer.ejs. Great, now let's open those up. Let's start with header. And we'll add in the basic skeleton, so HTML, head, title, we'll call it blog app, and then we need our body, just like that. And we'll be moving this to the footer, so we can cut that out for now. And then just so that we know it's working, let's add in just a paragraph at the top that says from the header file. And if we see that on every page, we'll know that we did it correctly. Now let's open up footer. Paste this in, and we can do the same thing from the footer. Save. Now we need to link this, and let's do it in our index to start. So at the top, we need to have our include, and our path is that we're inside of views in the index file, so we just want a /partials/header. And then the same thing down here, partials/footer. Let's test it out. No problem so far. And we get from the header file, from the footer file. Great. Now let's add in semantic UI. So I have the semantic UI website open, semantic-ui.com. And just like Bootstrap, we can either download the files or we can include a CDN. Semantic UI CDN. Just click on this first example. And you'll notice there are a lot of different files that we could pick from. And that's because the way that semantic UI is organized, the way it's designed, is that unlike Bootstrap, if all you want is a navbar section, or you only want the forms, you can just take that single component/form.css. So you don't need the entire thing, which is one of the criticisms of Bootstrap, is if you only want a small piece, you still have to take the entire library. But we do want the entire library. So if you scroll down on all of these CDNs, we want the one that says semantic.cdn, which, if you just do a search, or semantic.css, which is right here. It's difficult to find if you don't know what you're looking for, but just do a search, and we'll actually take the minified version just to make things faster. So semantic.min.css. And we copy that URL over, and we're going to put it up top in our header file. Inside the head, it's a link tag, and we want it to be link, and then href equals that right there, CSS. And we should also add in rel style sheet type equals text/CSS. So now if we save and restart the server again, take a look at our home page, you'll see a few small changes. Just like when we first installed Bootstrap, the font changes a little bit. Okay, so that means that we have it working. Let's get rid of our paragraphs in the header and footer. And instead, let's add in a simple navbar. In semantic UI, navbars are called menus. So if we go over here, click on menu, all the different components, and we want to find menu, which is under collections. Menu, you can see there are quite a few different types of menus. There's menu, which is what you see here. There's a pointing menu. There's tabular, text, vertical, pagination, and there's quite a few more. All that we need, though, is to make the top of our body a div. And let's indent this properly. Okay, div class equal to UI fixed, and we'll do an inverted menu, which just changes the color. Just like in Bootstrap, you can say inverse. And then inside of there, we need another div. And this one will have class equals UI container, which is just like Bootstrap's container. And then inside of there, we'll have another div, and this one will have class equal to header item. And this is like the navbar brand on Bootstrap. So all that we want is blog, site, or whatever we want our app to be called. And then after that, we'll add an anchor tag for the home page, and we'll just call it home. And we'll add it in class equal to item. And then we'll do the same thing, except rather than going to slash, it will go to slash blogs slash new, which doesn't exist yet, and it will be called new post or new blog. That will be the text that we see. Okay, so UI fixed inverted menu, then a container inside of that, and then inside the container, we actually should have all of this. Small mistake on my part, so we want that to be in there as well. It's all in the container, and then we have our header, and then we have two items that are anchor tags. Let's take a look at that now. And we get our simple navbar. Yes, we have a problem here with some spacing. We'll handle that in just a moment, but we have our navbar. It works just fine. Let's add in a simple icon, which in Semantic UI are just called icons. There's a bunch of them. And the one that I used is called code. Let's try and find it on here. I'll just do a search. There it is. But feel free to pick your own if you like. Comment. The idea was that it was a code-based blog, but there might be something else. I like the idea one as well. Anyways, there's a bunch of them. What is nice is that they also have a bunch of icons for companies, which is useful. At the very bottom, I think they have them. Here we go. So tons of different brands and common companies that you'd have linked to on your application. Okay, so it's code is the name for icon, and I'm going to add it right here next to the blog site header. So right here, header item. And all we need is an I tag, and it needs to have a class of code and then icon. So really simple, just the name of the icon and then the class icon. Save, refresh, and we have our little code icon there. Let's make a small change, which is to make this icon a little bit bigger. To do that, we could just write a style tag right here, but rather than doing that, let's use the public directory that we set up. We still need to make the directory, but we set up the fact that it's being served. So we'll do style sheets slash, and we'll just call it app.css. Doesn't exist yet. So we need to do a make directory public, and then also make directory public slash style sheets, and finally touch public slash style sheets slash app.css, which we also want to open up. So public style sheets app.css. Tab completion is definitely your friend there. And to make all the icons a little bigger, we'll just do, actually rather than all icons, let's do icons that have the class of icon, just to be a little more specific. And we'll set font size to be 2 EMs, just like that, double the size of the container, or double the size of the parent. Save. Okay, so now if we start our server back up and we refresh the page, we should see that the icon gets larger, which is just a matter of personal preference, but I think it looks a little bit better when it's larger. Okay, now that we have that done, we're done with everything we needed to do in this video. So I just wanted to set up the navbar, add in the header footer files, add in our own custom CSS file, even though it's only one line. Now we can easily add custom CSS to every single file, every single template. And I wanted to show you how we can include Semantic UI. Okay, so we'll pick up in the next video with new and create, so we can actually create new blogs.